This week's edition of Monday Night Raw is done and dusted, and it's safe to say there were a few nice surprises. Be sure to check out that video, but for now, let's look at the goings-on in the wrestling world, as today's news headlines include a WWE superstar on indefinite leave, when will the Usos return, Triple H says NXT isn't competing with AEW, a segment cut from Raw as it might have been accidentally leaked, Stephanie McMahon is triggered, CM Punk reveals on what really happened the night The Rock called at a live episode of Raw, and Nikki was told she was ugly every day. Let's get into the first bit of news, as Alicia Fox is on indefinite leave. One-time Divas champion Alicia Fox has had what appears to be serious issues coping with alcohol, whether it's the incident where she reportedly worked a live event while intoxicated, or her recent antics at SummerSlam. According to Fightful.com, Fox was offered rehab, but instead went absent, to the point that several in the company had no idea if she was even offered rehab or where she was. We were told that Fox had been on thin ice several times in the past, notably after a Wrestlemania incident with Travis Browne last year that went public, and another in 2017 that saw her arrive over 2 hours late to a show when she was in line for a push. Fox was moved to the active roster to the Legends section, but she seems to need some substantial help coping with her personal demons. According to one fan report from SummerSlam, young girl Alicia was leaning, staff holding onto Sis by the elbow. It was actually sad, but I couldn't believe it. She was hanging with the wrestlers while I was waiting for my friends to come to the hotel, and when she got up, fans were getting ready to swarm her, but stopped because it was obvious she was drunk. WWE staff was trying to contain her. This wasn't the only account of Fox having alleged alcohol-related issues on the SummerSlam weekend. Squared Circle Vixen's Casey Michael tweeted, "Alicia Fox was a drunk mess over the week, trying to confirm what exactly went down. Very sad. Hope she gets the help she needs." According to Pro Sports Extra's Brad Shepard, according to a source in WWE, Alicia Fox is on indefinite leave. While Fox is on indefinite leave, when will the Usos return? As Alicia Fox isn't the only superstar who has had problems due to alcohol, with both Jay and Jimmy Uso dealing with arrests for DUI. They've been off the air for weeks now, but rumour has it the two could be back on SmackDown in time for its premiere on Fox. Next up, Triple H says NXT isn't competing with AEW. While some people think NXT's move to the USA Network, conveniently airing against AEW's new show on TNT, is a clear sign of the WWE competing with All Elite Wrestling, NXT's boss Triple H disagrees. To me, people can say what they want, how they want. I don't approach it like as a competitive thing or anything else. We're just going to put on our shows. We're going to put on our shows when we need to put them on, in the best places we need to put them on, in the right time slots for them, and the best talent I can find in the world, and we already have them. I'm confident in that. When I look across the board at NXT in general and NXT in the UK here, we put on show after show of the highest caliber. Not one or two matches, the entire show, so I have no doubt. For me, it's not competitive against anyone or anything. I just want to put on the best show for the fans of NXT, the fans here in Cardiff tonight, the fans around the world. That's all this is. It's funny because a few years ago we were doing this and doing the same kind of thing, wowing people, and there wasn't competitors out there. So I guess we were just doing it for competitive reasons then, to compete with ourselves. While there's truth in Helmsley's comments, there also seems to be considerable spin. Next up, a segment was cut from Monday Night Raw, as it could have been accidentally leaked. Now if you were on Instagram last night, casually flicking through some of the stories, you may have come across an interesting video on WWE's story timeline, where the company was promoting its upcoming pay-per-view Clash of Champions, and the growing tensions between Raw Tag Team Champions Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman, who will go up against each other at the pay-per-view. Funnily enough, WWE used a segment between the two that hasn't been shown before, and it involved the two arguing backstage, before Strowman pushes Rollins through a false wall. The video they posted could have spoilt the segment for last night's Raw, but interestingly, that segment never even aired last night. Was this segment supposed to air next week? Did WWE remove it altogether? One thing's for sure, it wasn't supposed to be featured on Instagram, and the story was quickly deleted by WWE, but not before a few fans managed to save it. Next up, Stephanie McMahon is triggered. All Elite Wrestling recently signed female Aubrey Edwards as a full-time referee and made history as the first female official to referee a main event World Championship match at AEW's All Out pay-per-view. Stephanie McMahon, a person who's always tried to see an opportunity at making women's history, was most likely gutted at the fact that AEW beat her to the proverbial punch. In fact, so much so that coincidentally, after the airing of All Out and AEW announcing they made history, Casey Michael of Squared Circle Sirens confirmed that WWE is on the lookout for female referees. WWE hired its first full-time female referee, Jessica Carr, in 2018, but she has never refereed a main event championship match. WWE did have another female in the past, Rita Chatterton, but she has been removed from WWE history. Wanna know why? Check out our Behind the Titantron episode for more details. Our next story looks at CM Punk revealing on what really happened the night The Rock called at a live episode of Raw. In February 2017, the People's Champ The Rock was at a Monday Night Raw show in Los Angeles. The Rock mentioned to the crowd that they were using this week's show to recreate the moment Paige defeated AJ Lee for the WWE Divas Championship for the film Fighting With My Family. The Rock informed the crowd they will have to do all sorts of reactions for sound bites, including cheers, loud boos, as all they had to do was mention Roman Reigns, and chant Paige's name. However, instead of chanting Paige, they started to chant CM Punk. The Rock was warned well before the show that this could happen because of AJ Lee being in the movie, even though she was played by Zelina Vega. Chants continued and started to get louder, which prompted The Rock to actually call Punk on his cell phone. However, it went straight to voicemail. During the CM Punk panel at StarCast 3, Mike Johnson, a PW insider, asked the straight-edge superstar about the moment The Rock tried to call him at the Staples Center. Punk didn't answer for a good reason, but when he saw how many messages were left on his phone, including a missed call from The Rock, he thought someone had died. He mentioned, "I was in the elevator, no reception in the elevator. My phone, no messages. I get in the elevator, it's a really slow elevator, like 6th floor. By the time it gets down and I walk out the front of my apartment building, I have 87 messages on my phone, and I'm like, I think somebody's dead. So I'm like, oh my god, what is going on? What is this strange number?" He continued, "See, this is the brilliant thing about him. This is how smart he is, and this is why nobody else in this situation would have been able to do this. It's like he recognizes that, okay, these people aren't gonna shut up. They're not going to stop chanting CM Punk, so he goes along with it, and it was brilliant. Cause guess what? They got their shot, they finished the thing, and he created a hell of a moment. He made all of the people feel like, yeah, that was awesome. It was a cool moment. It was just brilliant. It shows you what a smart guy he is, and yes, I did hear, it was part of the text messages I was getting. A couple of people backstage were like, it's crazy back here right now. A couple of broken headsets, flying everywhere." Punk recalled this moment also patched things up between him and The Rock, as they had some legitimate heat between them in 2013. But could you imagine what would have happened backstage and at the Staples Center if Punk hadn't been in the elevator at the time and he answered the call in front of 10,000 plus people? It would have been one of the craziest moments. And our last story looks at Nikki Cross, who was told she was ugly every day. It's been a long road for Nikki Cross, who debuted in NXT in 2016, finally joining the main roster officially towards the end of 2018, as one of 6 wrestlers to make the move from NXT, and currently she stands as one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, along with her best friend Alexa Bliss, and she is no doubt one of the most talented wrestlers on the women's roster today. Now, women in the WWE have evolved from the days of being used as showpieces that concentrated simply on looks and sex appeal, but at an early age, Cross experienced being bullied as a kid on her looks, and revealed on Lillian Garcia's Chasing Glory podcast, she used to be called ugly every day by her peers. She mentioned, "I think it was something that later on I really used a lot. In school, we were always made to feel a certain way, and I think for so many people, it's sad to even say it, bullying is such a common thing. I would get called ugly. I'd get called ugly every day. If I managed to get through a day when I didn't get called ugly, I'd see that as a huge win. So every day, and the thing is, it was never like physical. It was never physical, and I knew people who dealt with it physically. But every day, just getting called out every day, and of course it affected me. But there you have it guys, the latest news from the wrestling world. Be sure to write your comments down below on what you think of the stories. Subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.